Instead of spitting out apples, you should be choking on these.
We did it. That took 10 minutes. What the fuck? Some of you have been asking, where did you go? Okay, no one's been asking this, I'm talking to myself, but why haven't you uploaded in 2 months? And why are you more inconsistent with your uploading than your aim? Ah! Debatable. Hello, welcome to the video. I'm sorry, I had no content, so we're back. We're back. Anyways, in a few days starts the long-awaited Valorant Champions tournament, which can be considered the tournament to end all tournaments. We, so far, have had 2 Masters International LANs, 3 Game Changers tournaments, a platitude of small LAN showdowns, where TSM manages to not make it past qualifiers against Tier 3 teams.
Everyone give more down your energy! Morgani!
And a billion Challengers tournaments along the way. Throw all that shit in the garbage. This is the tournament that matters. If we want to definitively say who the greatest team is for the first official year of Valorant eSports, this is the tournament to watch. Now, if you're not too familiar with the teams, groups, and fan favorites going into the tournament, this is the video for you. Good job, you clicked the right one. I'm so proud. Wait, I gotta scroll down. I will be going over some of the past tournament results and play styles of each team, as well as some players to watch from each respective roster. So at your next watch party, you can be that guy who impresses all of the... It's not gonna be any women. It's a Valorant watch party. You can be very impressive with your knowledge of the sport. So let's get into it. A small disclaimer, my opinions this video will mostly be based on past performances as well as general fan opinions on the players. The exciting thing is we haven't seen a lot of these rosters for at least a month, so any one of them could show form and be crowned the best team in the world. I might be slightly biased towards America and a little bit of Europe, but it's my video, not yours, so we're gonna keep going. Oh shit. Oh my God. This is harder than I thought it would be. So just to start off, the confirmed format of the tournament is a double elimination group stage, followed by a single elimination playoff run. If that's complete fucking gibberish, they basically play in little groups of 4 with each other until 2 of them make it out of the group, i.e. beat the other 2 teams in elimination matches, and those 2 teams get drawn into a bigger playoff bracket where they face off against each team once and advance to the next stage of the playoffs if they win. Group A consists of our first 4 teams: Acend from Europe, Team Envy from North America, Vivo Keyd from the Brazilian region, and X10 Esports from Asia Pacific. Acend is coming
into the unknown
in as Europe's 2nd seed after a 5th place finish at Masters Berlin. Their team consists of Bone Cold on controller, Kiles on Viper/Sentinel, Starkso on Sky/Sentinel, Zeke on Duelist or Sova, and their star player Sened on Jet Duty. Acend boasters an impressive win rate of 86% over their past 80 matches, coming off of a 2nd place finish at Red Bull Homeground, a 1st place finish in European Challengers Stage 3, and a 1st place finish at European Masters 1 back in March. The star of the show here is definitely Sened, who is consistent with the stats, as you can see. Obviously, we shouldn't look at just numbers when considering each player's impact of a team. Starkso and Zeke are always strong contributors in their Sage and Sova roles respectively. The whole team plays this quick tempo aggressive style of taking map control around the opposing team and suffocating them in chokes, as seen a lot versus 100T at Masters.
Into this. It's a good read because they know pressure's going to come in off short as well.
Exactly.
Very nice read to post up on that. He hit the shot, he looks silly, but jeez. Nitro just about getting away with his life there, 8 HP. But look at what they've got to work with. It's few and far between. It's little odds and ends, and Acend make it to 11 flawlessly as well.
They have one blaring weakness in the style of play though, as when it comes to CT and spike defensive positions, the other team has been using this tried and tested formula of find Sened, kill the rest of his team, and avoid him, and you win. I think regardless of this, Acend is a really strong team, and if they're allowed to play their strengths, they will do a pretty fast job at steamrolling the less prepared teams in the group stage. Players to watch are Sened, Starkso, and Zeke. Mostly Sened. Hey, okay, look. Okay. This is new. Wait, I almost fucking ruined it all. Okay, watch this shit. Placing Acend. Wait, no, I should be in the thing. Placing Acend. No, this is so stupid. Placing Acend into my Magic Tournament placement calculator. Let's see what it says. So yeah, CNET and Friends quarterfinals plus semifinals peak. Don't hate me. Next. Team Envy comes into champs as North America's 2nd seed after a 2nd place finish at Masters Berlin, a 3rd place finish at NA's Stage 3 Challengers, and a 4th place finish at Stage 2 Challengers. Those placings should not be completely representative of the team's strengths though, as their recent addition of Jacob Ye Whitaker for Stage 3 Challengers and Masters Berlin has made this team look pretty clean ever since. Their roster consists of FNS as IGL/Sentinel, Victor on Duelist and Sky, Crashies as Sova, Marved on Controller, and Ye on Jet. This team at first glance just has everything. You have a top 2 NA Smokes player in Marved. Just don't let him clutch, because he won't do that. You have the Victor plus Crashies butt buddy system. Not to mention individually, Crashies is probably the best Sova player in NA Valorant right now.
Able to get a nice round to Vixen as they start the A take.
Very well played by Mirrors, wrapping around the corner at the exact time, but Crashy's good for 2 with the Sheriff. That's going to drop things down to a 2v2. Now Crashy's just 5 health. Joe's going to clean up FNS. Again, that's like, man, the lurk. What kind of shot? Oh, Crashy's good for 4 with the Sheriff.
The 4K's dog.
Oh, the Raz
is gonna need a 5.
So much more difficult. Yeah, oh, but he's going to upgrade a weapon. Crashies has a chance for
Oh my God!
a chance for it, the ace! The Red Bull clutch from Envy! Is this the turning point?
FNS on IGL and a top 3 NA Jet player in Ye. Envy plays a smarter style of play compared to that of Acend, but still with a faster tempo than most teams. Their IGL FNS is really great at finding the right plays. They have a kind of methodical bullying playstyle. Their only major issue after making it to the grand finals of Masters Berlin was a few communication issues between the players. It was a lot of simple things like players not peeking together and executes not really working out in their favor. But I do think a lot of the macro decisions they made through the game were pretty solid. In the case that they have those issues pat down, this team brings together quite an insane roster and a calm and calculated playstyle that I think will turn a lot of heads at champs. Players to watch are Ye and Crashies. On my Magic Tournament placement calculator, I have Envy as 1st to 4th, Hopium, but probably 5th to 8th. I personally really want Envy to make it to semis, but I think realistically they might fall in quarters just due to how many competitive teams they are here. Vivo Keyd, or Keyd Stars,
This fuck, boy.
is Brazil's 2nd seed going into champs. Fuck, that was so cringe. Vivo Keyd are the young kings of Brazil, snagging 1st place at Stage 3 Challengers Brazil, as well as the Chroma Cup, a smaller tournament. They had a tumultuous early 2021, failing to make it through Challengers 1 and 2 qualifiers, but have since bounced back and competed in Masters Berlin to middling results. Keyd's roster consists of Vixen on Controller, NTK on Sova, Muriz on Duelist, Jho on Sentinel, and their young star Heat on Jet. They're pretty fast on their execute, and it seems like the communication between the players on terms of like double peeking is pretty solid. Their weakness seems to come when teams don't really fall into that bait. A majority of their losses in the rounds come from retakes where the enemy team still has util to work with. For example, on Icebox vs Envy, there was a lot of back and forth until Envy realized that they can just save their util for retake. That being said though, the amount of improvement VK has made in the past 3 months has been exponential. So going to champs, I expect them to make a pretty strong showing. The only unlucky thing is that they're in the same group as Envy and Acend, so they will have to play pretty well to make it to the knockout stage. Players to watch are definitely Heat, Muriz, and Vixen.
What can they bring us here? Already Heat's going to spot out most of the play and also just takes off. Oh, Makiba's had the follow-up as well. They're saying pretty. Doesn't even need to zoom in. Doesn't need.
No way,
Heat,
dude.
get out of here. Get out.
You should have seen your faces.
Vivo Keyd for me, I would say will probably fall in groups, unfortunately. They'll definitely be 3rd in their group for now, but we'll have to see. I hate this chair. X10 Crit, formerly known as X10 eSports, is the #1 seed coming in from Southeast Asia, and they are kind of cracked in their region. What? Look at all these ones! Their roster consists of, okay, I'm gonna butcher these. CRWS on Initiators, but also Sage. Scary on Controller. Sushi Boys on Sentinel. Foxes as their Sova or IGL. And the boy, Patafan on Duelist. No Flame on X10. Patafan is one of the most wholesome personalities in the Valorant scene, but I would not be surprised if they don't get a win in this group, unfortunately. For one, the only team they beat at Masters Iceland was Japan's Crazy Raccoons, who had a bit of a rough showing these past 2 tournaments, and X10 also failed to qualify for Masters Berlin at all, going 0-3-0 in SEA's Challenger Stage 3 tournament. So, will they make it to the knockout stage this tournament? Players to watch are Patafan, and Patafan. Magic Calculator says... it's unwinnable, sorry. Hopium, Patafan, you're the best. Please do well. Group B, we have TL from Europe, Sentinels from North America, Furia eSports from Brazil, and Crew eSports from Latin America. Team Liquid is Europe's 4th seed, qualifying the champions through the Last Chance qualifier tournament, but that seed number I would say is a bit misleading. Their roster consists of Link on Controller or Sentinel, Soulcast on Sova/Raze, a bit of Sky and KO, Yampi on Jet/Sova, Scream on Duelist or Sage, and Nivera on Controller. Okay, yeah, Team Liquid has a pretty solid team, some good players here and there, and they have a pretty good read of the meta. Okay, but do you know what's stronger than all of that? Brotherhood. How can you win a 2v2, 2v3, 2v anything if the other 2 people are literally blood related? Is it genetic? Is that why I'm gold? How are both of them so good? I think it's literally genetic, so I blame my family. Despite a disappointing 5th to 8th finish at Masters Iceland and failing to qualify for Masters Berlin at all, Team Liquid recently beat out the majority of the top European teams at the smaller Red Bull Homegrounds tournament, with standout performances from all 5 members, as well as an insane debut performance in the European LCQ by Scream's younger brother, Nivera. They have an advantage where individually most of their players are top tier in their role, and as a team they have done nothing but improve on their util usage, communication, and execution. There's honestly not much else I can say about TL besides that they're for sure a team to watch in taking the whole tournament. Players to watch are Scream and Nivera for that brotherly synergy. For the calculator, because I keep forgetting I have this, 1st to 4th. Hashtag let's go Liquid. Okay, this group is a wash. Okay, whatever. Sentinels was recently on a tear of a win streak that was ended by Team Envy at Masters Berlin, or I guess G2. Sorry. They bolster a still insane 83% win rate over the past 127 games and have for the most part pioneered and mastered their style of play of literally just out-aim these kids. Sen's roster consists of Shazam as their IGL/Jet/Sova sometimes, Tens as their main duelist, Dapper on Sentinel, Zoms on Controller, and Sick on secondary duelist/Sage. And as a slight addition to the roster, they have added a coach, Raccoon, formerly of FaZe. A lot of people have been preying on Sen's downfall since they won Iceland, mostly because of the polarizing personalities on the team.
But now it's EU coming in from the opposite side, towards the stairs. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, okay, Dapper. He's gone.
He is angry.
And when they lost at Berlin, it was like the world kind of fell apart for some of the fanboys. In actuality, they only really lost 2 best of 3s, which is nothing really to write home about. I would put them in the same boat as Team Liquid, but maybe in the opposite direction in terms of success. Every player has almost defined their respective roles in NA, and they have a playstyle together that just works, when honestly it should not. They probably won't pull an Iceland this time around and go undefeated on every map, but I don't expect them to bail out early on in the tournament. It's at least a semifinals angle. Players to watch are Shazam, Tens, Zoms, Dapper, and Sick, and watch Raccoon too, because why would you not? look at this shit.
Going to play for the AWP, he's one off the Blade Storm, but and straight away we'll find the open. I don't think it's even going to matter here. We'll get it online at A long, but Sentinel will hit C.
They're going to be on this site, they've got everything they need. They're so early in their utility usage as well, they can have so much left for the post plant if they need any of it. They want to depend on it because this retake has so little impact in my mind at this point. Unless something like Ye gets involved. He needed that to be cleaner, couldn't quite find it. And 10 just pushes himself into them.
Oh my word.
3 found. Give him the 4th. Crashies will fall for him. Give him the ace. 10s is going to drag Sentinels kicking and screaming across the line if he has to.
Magic calculator. First to 4th. NA number 1. Crew eSports is the number 1 seed coming from the Latin American region. This team is based in Argentina. This team is based in Argentina and has been pretty much sweeping the majority of the tournaments in LAS and LA North. They also had a relatively impressive showing at Masters 2 and 3, 2-0ing teams like the YNG Sharks, Zeta Division, and Vivo Keyd. Their roster consists of Kesnet on Secondary Duelist, Delzik on Controller, Klaus on Sentinel/Sova, Nagzet on Jet, and Mazzino on Sentinel/Viper. I think Crew is in a very unique spot as a team where they'll probably run a train over a lot of the smaller teams like Team Secret, X10, Crazy Raccoons, but they will likewise get a train run on them by the more established teams from Europe and NA. They are unfortunately in their own kind of group of death where Team Liquid and Sentinels are both tournament favorites to win the whole thing, let alone get out of their group. So unfortunately, I don't expect Crew to make it past groups this go around, though they have a number of exciting players to watch, so keep an eye out for Kesnet, Delzik, and Klaus this tournament.
Still working their way amid as they've done before. Great use of the utility. Here we go. The show's everybody's up above it. Kesnet able to dodge it and get the kill.
Furia eSports is the 3rd seed from the Brazil region. I didn't even know Brazil had 3 seeds, but the more you know. Qualifying to Masters through the Brazilian LCQ circuit, where they beat out local tournament favorites such as the YNG Sharks and Havan Liberty. Furia has been doing quite well in the Brazilian scene, with some first place qualifying finishes in Challengers 1, 2, and 3, and 3rd place finishes in the Challengers 1, 2, and 3 finals. They also managed to place 3rd in Masters 1 Brazil. Furia's roster consists of, I'm going to butcher this, Zand on Jet, QCK on Sage and Viper, Khalil on Sentinels, NZR on Sova, and Mazin on Controller. Despite their consistently higher placings in VCT Brazil, we've never seen Furia internationally until now, so predicting how they're going to perform is going to be difficult. That being said though, they are the 3rd seed from Brazil and have possibly the hardest group out of all of the other Brazilian teams. No shade to Furia fans or Brazilian fans, but if I had to calculate the probability that Furia beats Sentinels, Team Liquid, or Crew and takes 2nd or 1st place in this group, it would be hard. It's a low chance. Players to watch though are Khalil, Nazar, and Zan.
Bem, esse cai enquanto isso já dá a cara por ali, joga o seu orbe de lentidão, atrapalha a movimentação, Elisei procura um choque, machuca os jogadores, vamos Elisei, vai todo mundo, o que ele tá fazendo?
Our Group C for this tournament includes Gambit from Europe, Team Vikings from Brazil, Team Secret from APAC, and Crazy Raccoons from Japan. I'll tell you right now, Gambit and Team Vikings are making it out of groups, and you can skip the rest of this section. So I don't have to write the script. Woohoo! Gambit is the previous Masters 3 Berlin champions and coming in as the 1st seed from Europe. In that tournament, they were definitely the cleanest team in terms of pure execution of strategies and synergies with each other. Their roster consists of their star Sentinel player Nats, Defo on Jet, Chronicle on Sova, and sometimes Duelist Brimstone on Haven and Fracture, Shados on Secondary Duelist, playing Sky, Reyna, Breach, and Sage, and Redgar as their in-game leader and controller player. Gambit, despite winning Masters 3, had a pretty tough time in Europe's recent Red Bull homeground tournament, losing 0-2 to Acend in the quarterfinals, and also some weak showings in the previous Challengers/Masters tournaments. They also showed some weakness in consistency in their Masters 3 games versus 100T and Vision Strikers. Now, there's no disputing that just looking at the past tournament results for recent international tournaments, Gambit is number 1. I think form will have a lot to do with how Gambit performs at all in this tournament. An unfortunate byproduct of players like Nats playing so well and so definitively during Masters 3 was now every other team has an opened case study of how he plays on every single map and how to play against them. That being said though, they don't have the hardest group in the world, so I would go as far to say that they have a guaranteed quarterfinals appearance, but they might unfortunately fall in the earlier rounds of the knockout stage because other teams are just gonna have such a good read of their strategy unless they switch up their playstyles. Players to watch are definitely Nats, Chronicle, and Defo.
Completely blind, and there you go. Thank you very much, Zeke. It leaves it all onto Shados, who is known for these sort of moments. What is that? That might be the play of the tournament. That is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. He's gonna close it out with the ace. Dear Lord, Shados.
Team Vikings is the #1 seed from Brazil, who unfortunately we haven't seen since August after losing the Vivo Keyd and failing to qualify for Masters Berlin. Their roster consists of GTN on Duelist, Sassy on Sova/Jet, FRZ on Sky/Sova, Suitcase on Controller, and Sadek on Sentinel. Besides having the most annoying names to pronounce in the entire tournament, Team Vikings pretty much dominated Brazil in early and mid 2021, taking home first place in Masters 1, Challengers Stage 1 and 2, and a 6th place finish at Masters 2 Iceland.
Ooh, the Hunter's Fury coming through. Doing some damage. Shazam down. Ozzy trying to find what he can there with the Blaze Storm. Trying to punish the Hunter's Fury now. There goes the Cloudburst by 410. Trying to just create a path, and it's going to work out. Tense goes down. Wow. And this is looking like a struggle here for Sentinels. Dapper, once again, finding himself 2 unlikely kills. Just finding that perfect timing to create all kinds of problems. But he's alone against 3 players. Is there any extra damage to be done here by Dapper? Absolutely not. Sassy will take him down, but it was a good attempt, and it will keep the money honest here for Vikings.
In terms of playstyle, we haven't seen the team play since August, so we don't really have that much information, but I think Vivo Keyd has the most effective playstyle in terms of our other 2 teams from Brazil. That being said, Team Vikings has a much easier group to get out of than Vivo Keyd, only having to beat out Team Secret and Crazy Raccoons for that 2nd spot. I expect this team to fall in the first round of quarters, but who knows, maybe they've cracked the code. Players to watch are definitely Sudakas, Sassy, and FRZ. Why would you name yourself that? Team Secret, who have acquired the old Bren eSports roster, are the 2nd seed from the Asia Pacific region. Bren was not allowed to compete at Masters Berlin even after they qualified for it because of COVID complications, so their roster was guaranteed the circuit points that you would get from qualifying. After which Team Secret came in and was like, yo, free points, free roster? That's ours. So they signed the roster and inherited enough points to attend Champions. So now we have this interesting situation where this team has never played an international tournament, but is playing at the World Championship. Kind of awkward. They did, under the Bren eSports label, win a couple bigger events such as Stage 3 Challengers, but have had some middling 2nd to 5th place results at some smaller SEA invitationals thus far. Their roster consists of Jesse Vash on Sova, Dubstep on Jet, Wits on Sky/Breach, Borkum on Controller, and Dispense on Sentinel/ a little bit of Viper. I'm thinking it's a wash for Team Secret. Sorry to all the Team Secret fans out there. We haven't seen this team play internationally, and they haven't been doing very well in their local region, so it's unlucky.
And that hurt a lot because Yo eSports, they've got some decent play, but the timing from Dubstep. Beautiful double headshot there coming out from his spray down. They know he's there, and now they're just gonna have to try and push him up, especially with that counter flash. Dubstep with a 4K. He's not done. He's gonna get the ace here from this B long side. What a play from them.
But the only other team that I think they would have a chance against in this group is Crazy Raccoon. Is Japan's #1 seed going into champs, narrowly beating out Zeta Division, who also attended Masters Berlin. Crazy Raccoon won our hearts at Iceland and Berlin, despite not winning anything else at those tournaments. They won 1 game against Havan Liberty, so that counts. Crazy Raccoon, new Valorant champs confirmed.
これ気づいてないんじゃないか。後ろを取れてるフェイスか。ワンだ。シーカー来た。相手はどこだ。25。戦うボンだ。世界で戦うボンだ。フェイスか。フラッシュ。さあフラッシュ。残り15秒。頼む。お互いの読み合い。見えた。必死戦。ノータイム。
Their 7-man roster, which is apparently common in Asia, consists of Neth on controller / Sentinel, Munchkin on duelist, Fisker also on duelist, Bazzi on Sova and Sentinel, Medusa on Sova and Sentinel, Minty on Sentinel, and Ada on controller. It's too many players. It's too many. Let them play for a different team. You aren't T1. Yeah, this one's just unlucky. They are improving though. So they won 0 at Iceland. They won 1 at Berlin. So fingers crossed, hopium for 2 this tournament. Hashtag do it for Neth.
世界の景色ってどう見ましたか？
動画でやっぱ見る試合だと、勝てる自信あったんですけど、やっぱりあそこに立って、世界の人たちと戦ったら全然うまくいかなくて、もう敵の方が上回ってましたし、自分のチームも全然ダメで用意してきたんですけど、それが全然通用しなくて、それがめちゃくちゃ悔しい。
ありがとうございます。でもまあその中でもバージョン1には本当に奮闘したなと思いましたけど、その中で多少の手応えはやっぱりつかめたところはつかめましたもんね。
Players to watch are Neth, Munchkin, and Fisker. There's too many of them, so just watch the whole team if you can. Yeah, so I did like 10 minutes of a room setup, and we're back to this camera angle because the audio sucked on the last one. Group D, let's go Group D. So for Group D, we have Vision Strikers from Korea, Fnatic from EU, Full Sense from Southeast Asia, and Cloud9 Blue from North America. Ah, sad. That's sad. Cloud9 is the 3rd and final seed from North America, qualifying to champs through the last chance qualifier tournament. If you watched my LCQ video, which you should have, it's not relevant anymore, but please go watch it again for the algorithm. I put C9 in my top 4, and you guys said FaZe Clan. Fucking FaZe Clan. Where's FaZe Clan now? Their roster consists of Vanity as IGL and controller, Zeppa as their secondary duelist, Mitch on Sentinel, Zeta as their Sova player, and Leaf on Jet. Cloud9 got pretty unlucky. I think they're a really strong team who have been looking more and more in form since they picked up Vanity back in August. That being said though, this group is going to be pretty competitive between Vision Strikers, Fnatic, and Cloud9. Full Sense might even show up and surprise, so who knows. To be honest, C9 is going to have to pull kind of a mini miracle and play to the full potential that this roster can bring to make it out of the knockout stage for this tournament. But I do believe that they could pull this miracle. I think if Cloud9 is really in form for this tournament, like they've been doing their research, Vanity is smurfing, Zeppa is smurfing as always, and Leaf is just like on something else, I think this team could very well make quarters and maybe even semifinals. But I do think that their most likely outcome would be to fall 3rd in this group and not advance. And just for memes, I love Zeta. He taught me Sova, so watch Zeta as well. No hate to Mitch too. Watch Mitch. They're all great players.
Yeah, Dapp's in a great position. He finds one on the way out as well, just down to Leaf, but he can make this costly. This is where Reynas are born. This is where Reynas are bred. One more, yep, now the duelists are starting to come through. He finds the flash! Leaf, no way! He gets the ace in the 10th round for Cloud9!
Vision Strikers is the #1 seed from Korea. They are the team that everyone was hyped about because of their insane 102-game win streak in VCT Korea and other small Asian tournaments. The team, just in their past 78 games, has a 94% win rate. 94. It's like me in League. Hey, add me in. Obviously, they have a bit of a super team in the Korean region, and in general, the competition in Korea is only between a couple teams, F4Q, New Turn, Damwon, and maybe I Need Girlfriend, which is a real team, by the way. I don't know. Nevertheless, they did have an okay international showing at Masters Berlin, where they dropped out in quarterfinals going 1-2 against the eventual tournament champions Gambit. This team is running a 6-man roster with Mako on controller, Buzz on Jet, RB on Sova, Raze, and Sage. Stacks on Skye and Initiators, and also Sage. King on Sentinel, and Lakia, who has been one-tricking Skye on Bind. Which is kind of unlucky for Lakia, to be honest. He was insane on new turn, but now he's just kind of like their 6th man, which is one of the reasons I don't really like 6-man rosters, but it is what it is. I think Vision Strikers had a strong showing at the last Masters tournament, and even though we didn't get to see much of them, I think they're going to play pretty well to get past the other teams here at this one. I imagine they'll probably fall in quarters again if they seed against one of the really strong teams, but if they manage to get first in their group and versus maybe like a Team Vikings or an Envy or a Team Liquid, they might have a chance of making it to semifinals and even grand finals. Korea as a region just needs a few more years to really settle in, and then they'll just wipe every tournament like every other esport.
Back to try and find some of these players. Now they've got nothing they can really do here other than back off. This is going to be a really hard hold for them. They need a smoke here. They need a smoke to cross over, and it's on its way. Okay, there it is in play. The lockdown, though, going to catch them.
Oh my god, I don't know when the next spawn will be, but you better be there.
And sure, they'll take him.
Oh yeah, I will.
But he did damage the rest of his team, sadly. Not in the same boat, with Killez left alive all by his lonesome. They are defusing as we speak.
For $3. I'm pretty sure yesterday you spoke about hitting 100k viewers with boasters. 2 hours later you did. I actually haven't.
Players to watch are Mako, Buzz, and Lakia for when he plays. Stacks also has a lot of moments to shine and a lot of big impact plays, so watch for those. Fnatic is the golden child of Masters Iceland, where everyone in the world got exposed to the wonderful world of Boaster.
Even dipping his toe before site control has been relinquished.
Is this the voice? Are we getting the voice, really? Is this trademarked? Are we allowed to show this?
They had a pretty stand-up performance at Masters Iceland, making it all the way to the grand finals and only being bested narrowly by Sentinels. And by narrowly, I mean 3-0, but every map was pretty close. Their roster consists of their IGL, Sova, and controller player, who's also a trained musical theater performer, Boaster. Mystic, who is a very, very solid controller player. He's unfortunately only remembered by this clip.
Dome was close, they don't know.
Find his teammate. No fucking way.
No, dude.
No.
Oh my god. EU. Oh my god. Oh no.
Dude, they dropped the ball.
That's such an EU thing to do. Oh my god.
Doma as their Sage and Skye, Magnum on Sentinel, and Durka on Jet. We unfortunately missed Fnatic at Masters Berlin after they failed to qualify, but were blessed by the EMEA gods in Gambit eSports, because whichever region won Masters Berlin would automatically gain another spot in Champions. And Fnatic happened to be first in line for that spot, thus we have a Fnatic at Champs. They've also been given the privilege of having a back seat from the spotlight, kind of like Team Liquid in missing out in Masters Berlin. Teams haven't really been able to study them since Masters Iceland and have the advantage of coming in with a new playbook as well as good reads of some of the other teams. Players to watch are Durka and Doma, as well as a bit of Boaster's webcam just to see how close to the monitor he's going to be this time.
Like they are for a good reason.
Doma able to find Juicy though, now playing from hell. They have the plant, they have the spike down. Did they not check it? Doma finds two. A quad kill looks for the next. And it's an ace coming through from Doma. Fnatic bring a round back.
I can't do the edit anymore. I was going to put the thing here. But yeah, I think this Fnatic roster will definitely make it to at least semifinals. Full Sense. So who the fuck is Full Sense? Full Sense is the winner of the Asia Pacific Last Chance qualifier, hailing from Thailand. They've had some consistent 1st to 4th place finishes at the SEA Challengers qualifier, as well as some 1st place finishes at the majority of smaller Thailand-based tournaments. Not to mention, they swept through the APAC qualifier, beating some big names such as Newturn and Damwon. Their roster consists of Chalalala on Sentinel, okay, that's pretty good. Chalalala on Sentinel, John Olsen on Duelist, which I think that's his government name, Lammy Snacks on Sova and Skye, PTC on Jet, and Super Bus on Controller. Okay, Full Sense has the best names in the tournament. There's no way you're gonna root against Chalala, Superbus, and John Olsen. I think Full Sense is winning. I think Full Sense wins champs, guys. Players to watch: John Olsen and PTC will probably be the main stars of the show as the main 2 duelists in this region. I don't think they'll make it past groups, unfortunately. Group is just way too hard for this competition, but hopefully they'll put up some good games against the other. And that's my recap of who I think will have the best showings at Valorant Champions. Thank you for watching. This is the longest video I've ever done and probably will ever do. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and comment below who you think will have the best performance this year, or better yet, who your favorite underdog team is going into the Champions Tournament. I'm personally Team Boaster. I hope Fnatic wins everything, just for the memes, honestly. With that, have a great day and enjoy watching on December 1st. See you in like 2 months or when I'm making it. Peace.